We are on. Welcome back to episode 2.8 of Lock It In, presented by All Day Media. We're back for week 8. The Immaculate Teaser, it's finally back. It hit in week 7. We had a lot of points. We predicted points, we needed points, we expected points, and we got points. DK Metcalf did score a touchdown. Lad McConkey came very close. Chris Godwin came very close. Somebody thought that Lamar Jackson would not cover against an NFC team. Nonetheless, we're back for week 8. Let's get a quick recap of week 7 and get into the picks, boys.
Yeah, some moron forgot about Lamar Jackson owning the NFC. Yeah, bad week. But
hey, but the over hit, though.
I had a ton of bets, so.
The over absolutely smacked, and it was a great week. The public actually killed the books, according to Tone Diggs. The public was ahead of the sports books this week.
That's 2 weeks in a row, then. Spooky.
Yeah, stay careful out there. Public winning 2 weeks in a row. Watch out for some trap games. Clark, what'd you learn from week 7?
I hate to root for injuries, but Voldemort's dead. So that's kind of my main takeaway from the week. We'll see if the Browns can, be a little more fun to watch now with Jameis, because I don't think it's going to be DTR that's the solution.
They did announce, I think like 30 minutes ago, as of today, Tuesday, that Jameis is starting. So that should be really fun to watch.
Oh, yeah, wow, tough week. A lot of injuries. Ayuk out for the season. Godwin, garbage time out for the season. Good receivers going down, but turning to two teams that have gotten good receivers back recently. We've got Cincinnati hosting the Eagles. I love the Bengals -2.5. Good matchup, two good offenses now that obviously the Eagles got their guys back in Smith and A.J. Brown, but I think there's just more pressure on the Bengals this week. They've still a top 10 offense, scoring a lot of points. I still think the Eagles are a little bit fraudulent. 2 weak wins the last 2 weeks against the Browns and the Giants. Bengals kind of got the monkey off their back finally. Burrow slaying the demon against Cleveland. Tough divisional game. They got the win. Some confidence going into this one. Give me the Bengals.
Yeah, I actually agree with that a lot. I think the Eagles came off 2 pretty weak wins, and October Joe Burrow was just different. So I actually like that a lot.
I definitely agree. The Eagles are a little fraudulent. I'm going to stick with in the AFC. I love the Steelers -6.5 this week. We saw what happens to the Giants when their offensive line has to go against a competent pass rush against the Eagles. And it's not going to get any easier with the Steelers front. Meanwhile, Russell Wilson's first action as a Steeler, kind of good.
Mr.
Actually.
Unlimited.
So, I think this one's simple. This is the third worst scoring offense going up against the second best scoring defense. I think the Steelers are going to be able to run the ball. The Giants are pretty susceptible to giving up rushing yards. Now that the Steelers have Jalen Warren back to supplement Najee Harris, I think the Steelers get this done by at least a score.
I'm very upset this is on Monday night. This belongs on a Thursday night, this game.
Yeah, it's a gross game, but I like the pick. George Pickens is, he's a diva, but he's a dog.
Everyone was talking about it. If you can give George Pickens a 50-50 ball like Russell Wilson can, dude, he's going to come down with more than 50% of those balls. He is an actual diva.
30-70 balls in that Jets game.
Yeah.
The one he picked off that dude's helmet was nuts.
George Pickens is crazy in both senses of the words, and on the field and off the field. But, if Russell Wilson can keep playing like that, I actually love the Steelers minus. It's -6.5. Wow. All right. Taking the favorites there. I'm going to go with an underdog here. I hate it, but I love it. I love the Patriots +7. So it's in New England. They're playing the Jets, and Drake May has actually shown a lot of promise. He can sling the ball. He's throwing the ball pretty well to Kayshon Boutte, who apparently was the fastest LSU receiver to 100 receptions, according to one Charlie Swartwood. But listen, they got beat up against the Jaguars in London. The Jags were in London. They've been acclimated to that environment. You throw a rookie QB in London, calling him the England Patriots and everything, he's not going to look great. He did look great. They didn't cover, but the Jets are a dumpster fire, and they have the worst rushing offense in the league. I'll take the Patriots with 7 points in this game in Foxborough.
I don't hate it. I really like Drake May, honestly. I think Mayo is another story. Seems to be holding him back, but he's been promising in 2 starts.
Definitely a weird management philosophy, just calling your team soft every week and not really changing it up. Well,
yeah, do you see what Bill said? He was like, they were the #1 defense last year. When I was there, it was all the same guys.
Chirps. Shots fired.
Yeah. I feel like he's just one of those guys. He enjoys seeing them crash and burn without him. It's like, if I can't have it, nobody can.
He really is. I feel like he's one of those guys.
All right, so speaking of teams coming back from Europe, The Jacksonville Jaguars spent 2 weeks there, and they got to be jet lagged all fuck. So I'm going to take the Packers minus 4.5 against the Jags. The Jags are a bottom 3 defense. The Packers have weapons for days on offense. They've scored a ton of points. Even when they don't play their best football, they're still winning games against good teams like they did against the Texans last week. I think there's just way too much firepower on this offense between all the receivers, Watson, Wicks, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Josh Jacobs, Jordan Love's healthy again.
Yeah, the Jaguars are bad.
I mean, yeah, they're going to boat race them. I think 4.5 it should be more like 7.5. They're going to win by at least a touchdown.
The only thing that scares me is it seems too easy. Like it should be more than 4.5.
Yeah, I usually stay away from lines like that, but this board's really tough, and
it seems
trust your gut.
Yeah. No, I like that, Cobbs. I'll be locking in the Dolphins minus 3. This is finally the week Tua's back. The Dolphins, at least reportedly, the Dolphins' offense should be
We'll
back.
put a caveat, an asterisk there. If Tua is back, I would hope.
Oh, it's 100% if Tua is back, because this offense is not fun to watch at all without him. It's very clear that they need him. But with Tua back, this offense is player props galore.
Facts.
You're finally going to get Tua. You're finally going to get Tyreek and Jalen Waddle active. A-Chain's going to be able to benefit off that. Even Raheem Mostert should be able to get some open in open space. Meanwhile, the Cardinals' offense has been very lackluster outside of their come-from-behind win against the 49ers. They've been averaging a little over 16 points per game over their last 5. I just think the Dolphins are going to be able to put up monster points against a subpar defense that gives up the highest rate of third down conversions in the league. So, Dolphins minus 3.
I mean, if Tua's back, absolutely.
If Tua's back, it's a points game, I feel like. Big time.
The only thing that concerns me is, as you said last week, Clark, if Tua takes the wrong hit, he'll be stumbling around like Joe Biden at a press conference, and then we're fucked.
Yeah, he refuses to wear the Guardian cap. I don't know if you saw that.
That was interesting. Personal choice, which, hey, respect, I guess.
Yeah, and he made a personal choice to go headfirst into DeMar Hamlin's chest when he got hurt. I mean, if he just decides to not do that and go down safely, I think he'll be okay.
Yeah. Well, I hope you're right, because we will talk about that game in just a little bit when we go and get propolicious in just a second. Before we get propolicious, my lock it into the week is the Bills at Seahawks over 47.5. So the Seahawks, their defensive unit is a little bit banged up. These are two high-scoring teams. Geno Smith and the Seahawks offense are number 1 in passing yards per game, and they're averaging 24 points per game. Seattle's underdogs here. I just think that this is going to be a high-scoring game. 47.5. I also like the Bills a little bit, but I'm staying away from the spread. Over 47.5, high-scoring game in Seattle.
Yeah, it's two top 10 offenses that both average over 25 a pop.
47.5.
We'll see what the Seahawks look like without DK, most likely. But I like it.
The Kenneth Walker birthday touchdown bet was an absolute lock.
Yeah,
we're idiots for not saying that, and we're also idiots for not saying that Lamar Jackson against the NFC once again. We should put a reminder in next time Lamar Jackson plays the NFC to talk about it, but we won't do that now. The Ravens are playing the Browns next week, an in-division rival, and what we're going to do now is get propolicious. We're going to talk about an anytime touchdown scorer. Boys were a little bit cold, but DK Metcalf scored a touchdown. Hit a couple parlays this week with a touchdown score, so I'm a little bit hot. Watch out, okay? Watch out and definitely tail me on this one. But, Cobbs, who should we tail to score a touchdown on your end?
Yeah, you sound like Howie. Anyway, anytime touchdown, James Conner against the Dolphins, the game you were just talking about. The Dolphins have allowed a touchdown to running backs every single week except one against the Cleveland Browns, where they allowed a rushing touchdown to one Mr. Deshaun Watson, RIP. So James Conner against a thin rush defense. I think Kyler's gonna run well on them as well. Get him near the goal line. Conner punch it in. It's too easy. It might not be plus money, but it should be like minus 150 or better. He might score twice.
Nice value, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I need to see one go in.
I've been there. I took Christian McCaffrey one week, and he scored 4 touchdowns. Just gotta need to see one go through,
Should have taken him for 3 or 4.
Hey,
Clark, who you got?
I like J.K. Dobbins this week. The Chargers playing the Saints at home. We're 1 week removed from the Saints giving up 152 rushing yards at a clip of 6.6 yards per carry to the Broncos running backs. And we all know the Chargers want to be a run-heavy team. When they're able to establish the run game, they're going to lean heavily on Dobbins. I think this is just a plus matchup against a team riddled with injuries, and I think the Chargers offense will have plenty of opportunities to put drives together and get Dobbins in the end zone.
He couldn't get in last week, but I think he's due this week. I like that pick.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have anything else.
So, sticking in the same game, Cabo. We're not going to overthink this one. His quarterback is back. He's the fastest player in the league. And he did not deserve to get arrested that 1 week, but Tyreek Hill is getting in the end zone. The Cardinals defense, not great. They let up 5 field goals. I mean, J.K. Dobbins could not run the ball against the Cardinals defense last week, but the Chargers offense lacks a ton of offensive weapons, which the Dolphins do not. So Tyreek to get in the end zone, don't overthink it. It's probably, I mean, at this point with Tua back, it's probably going to be minus money. So I'm sorry for value shaming you, Cobbs, but Tyreek to score a touchdown, don't overthink it.
Yeah, I think he's going to go nuclear.
Finally, some fantasy teams can rejoice that Tua is back.
So excited. So invested in A-Chain. I need it so bad.
All right, so that was our anytime touchdown scores, and now it's time for the moneymaker. We went 3-0 last week on the Immaculate Teaser. It was never a doubt. 3 overs for the first time ever, and this time we're going to go back-to-back with the Immaculate Teaser. It's perfect. You can't lose. Cobbs, kick us off with the teaser. That should be immaculate this week.
Yeah, this is going to be brief because you must not have read my text. My pick for the teaser was over in the Bills-Seahawks game, buy it down to 41.5. So we already talked about 2 top 10 offenses. Bills definitely have something cooking with Amari Cooper. He's only going to be 1 week more acclimated. Seahawks had some corners banged up. We'll see if Woolen and Spoon are back. But either way, I think the number is just way too low. So
you stated 2 locks there. The over, buying it down. The other lock being, I did not read your text.
Parlay it.
I love that, especially because Amari Cooper scored and he didn't even know what route he was running on that play.
That was a sweet clip.
Imagine when he actually knows what he's doing. That'll be great. I'm kind of going in a reverse of that. I'm putting an under in the reverse teaser. It's the under in the Cowboys and 49ers game. The Niners are in distress. They just lost Brandon Ayuk for the year. George Kittle's ankle's banged up. There's been virtually no news of a Christian McCaffrey return. It's not looking good for their offense. Thank God Debo's out of the hospital because they'd be down to nothing. The Cowboys have yet to put up more than 25 points this year, and even though the 49ers defense isn't the vaunted unit that it has been in the past, it's still no slouch. I mean, there's going to be points scored in this game, but 53 points, I just don't think so.
Yeah, the 49ers are so banged up, and the Cowboys just aren't good. I actually love that.
Know who else isn't that good? Brock Purdy. Take the under.
Agreed. Brock Purdy, very bad. You know who else is bad, Cobbs? The Las Vegas Raiders.
Yes, they are.
You tease the Chiefs to -4. It does not lose. The Raiders are very bad. Aiden O'Connell, he has a broken thumb, I believe. And Gardner Minshew had a QBR of 12.7 last week. The Chiefs are the Chiefs to beat the Raiders -4. They haven't looked great, but this could be a very easy game for them to get back. I don't see how any of these lose, boys.
Yeah, I mean, I'd almost take the Raiders +16 because I think the Chiefs are going to feel bad beating them by that many. So you could tease both sides of that one.
I saw a hot take that Andy Reid once a year purposely loses to the Raiders so that they don't fire their coach and they keep having an easy division. I don't think that's the case, and maybe they'll wait until later in the season to lose to the Raiders. But
he already gave them their free win last year, so they'd keep Antonio Pierce.
Right, exactly. Okay, so yeah, we're on.
Yeah, he's got to. Eventually, they're going to have to move on.
The Immaculate Teaser is on. We are on. We got propolicious. We Tyler Lockett it in, and then we do also love some picks. But I think that makes for a great episode 2.8, boys. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be back next week for 2.9. Lock it in.